this is your first time here, hello. I am Danielle and I make videos on spirituality, witchcraft, hoodoo, and topics of that nature. So if those things interest you, click that subscribe button and click the notification bell. Also join me on Instagram at Enchanted Ways for daily inspirational quotes and daily card readings. I'll have the link in the description as well as in the about section. And thank you to everyone who's already come over to Instagram and has been supporting me. I appreciate you all so much. And also thank you to all of my new subscribers. Welcome to the Enchanted Ways family. And for those of you who have been holding me down for a while, first of all, thank you. Second of all, I hope you all didn't miss me too much. Last week was my birthday and I decided to milk it for all it was worth, all right? Because I hate when like birthdays or any special occasion like falls in the middle of the week, because it's business as usual, especially as you get older. You know, people don't celebrate your birthday as much as they did, you know, when you were young and a kid and all of that, and you get used to that, you know? Nobody wants an empty birthday card, but that's what you get when you're grown. Anywho, so I decided to just milk that birthday week of mine all week, and I did, and so it was, and here I am. And without further ado, disposing versus deployment, okay? Disposing of your spells versus deployment. First of all, when would you use one over the other? Well, when it comes to deployment, you deploy spells that are meant to be ongoing spells, and you dispose of spells that aren't. The type of spells that, you know, it's a one and done type of situation. If you aren't getting the results that you're looking for, or you haven't gotten the full measure of the results, then you would have to repeat it, versus an ongoing spell, you feed it, you know, you don't have to repeat it. So that's why you would use one over the other. But let's get into the definitions. Disposing of spells. Disposing of spells is the act of ridding yourself of whatever remains after you've completed a spell. The herbs, the oils, you know, the candle wax, the candle jars left behind, all of those things. Not your tools, you know, not your athame or plates and different things that you use. Not that, but everything else that was involved in the spell that you have no intentions and no desire to work with. It's served its purpose and you're done with it. You're ready to release the spell so that it can do what it needs to do. That's disposing. And you can look at disposing as like the final act in a play. It wraps everything up, brings your spell to a close so that you can release that energy out into the universe so that it can do its job, do what it needs to do, move things around, shift whatever it needs to do to bring what it is into your life, what it is that you were trying to manifest. And a couple of examples of disposing, and we'll get to more later on, would be the simple act of letting the water out of your tub after you've done a spiritual bath. That's disposing. Throwing your mop bucket water outside after you've done a peaceful home floor wash or something like that. That is disposing. Now, deployment, on the other hand, because deployment is for those spells that are ongoing, I define deployment as the act of placing your spells in certain locations so that the location itself becomes an ingredient in your spell. Now, that's not to say that the location you choose for disposing of your spells can't be looked at as an additional ingredient, because at the end of the day, everything is an ingredient. Your mood that day, your alignments, the alignments of the planet, everything that's going on at the time of when you perform a spell are ingredients in your spell. It's not just the herbs and the oils, it's the colors, it's music if you're playing it. It's all of these things, your thoughts. All of these things are ingredients. And so the location you choose for disposing or deployment is an ingredient as well. But the main difference is that when it comes to disposing, you can get away with choosing the same neutral location to dispose of your spell every single time, no matter what kind of spell it is. So a neutral location would be like the crossroads. You can dispose of any kind of spell. It doesn't matter whether it's baleful magic, positive, attracting, whatever. It's a neutral location. The whole point of the crossroads and locations like that are neutral is that it's getting a lot of traffic. And so many people are coming by that they get to take a little piece of that energy with them and disperse it out. Whether that dispersing is because you're trying to get the energy and spread it out far and away because it's low vibrational energy, or you're trying to disperse it out because it's positive energy. You're trying to cast a wide net. Okay, that sort of thing. You're trying to cast a wide net so that that energy can come back to you. But either way, it's dispersing, it's a neutral location, and it really doesn't matter what kind of spell it is. You can choose that same location for disposal. Deployment, you would not do that. Because when it comes to deployment, you choose certain locations based on their energy, their symbology, and or their proximity to the target. So that's one of the key differences in why the location that you choose for deployment, you really need to put some thought into it, because it can make or break a spell. So some examples of deployment would be taping a paper mojo under your boss's desk or under their chair or something. The fact that it's that close to your target, the spell has no choice but to work. Choosing a bank for a money spell, deploying your money spell at a bank. The symbology of that, the energy of that. There's literally millions of dollars floating in the air of the bank, you know. And so you make it very clear what it is that you're trying to manifest when you have all of these symbols that you've put together for your spell, because that's all it is. That's what you're doing. You're putting together symbols so that you can act on your subconscious mind, and also so that you have a signal to your higher self, your spirit guides, your ancestors, or whatever it is that you work with. You have this recognizable symbol that you've created that they can understand and know what it is that you're trying to get help with. And so by aligning that spell with that location, you are making it very clear, very crystal clear what it is that you're trying to manifest, because the energy of a bank is not the same energy as a hospital or a school or, you know, your mom and pop convenience store. You know, there's dust on the damn bread and nobody comes in there to buy anything other than Mountain Dew and lottery tickets. Like, it's not the same energy if you were to deploy that money spell there. You might lose money, whatever money troubles they have, and with that dusty bread, you finna start experience. So it's the energy, it's the symbology of that location that you're working with in that case. And so those are just a couple quick examples. Again, we're going to get in depth in a little bit. So when it comes to disposing or deploying, I want to throw it out there, you always want to follow your instincts, okay? You follow your intuition. You're not thinking, feeling certain things for no reason. So honor that. Because when you follow your intuition for anything that you do, but especially spell work, it's going to be more powerful. It's going to be more potent, because one, you're unique, and two, how many people are getting this exact information, have tapped into this exact frequency, receiving this exact download at the same time as you? Not many, okay? You know, probably a handful of people. So, and then the fact that it's you makes it even more unique, and so that it's just for you, and you're basically, when you're following your own instincts and doing things your own way, as I said before, it's like opening up a highway. It's like you find a well that nobody else knows exists. Just this well of energy that you can tap into And because it's so much energy, because nobody else is tapping into it, that's what makes it so powerful. You know, it's like working with different spirits. If everybody's working with Venus, you need to go somewhere else. You need to find some obscure entity that's been lost to the annals of time, nobody knows about, or create your own entity and nobody definitely knows about that. It's all for you. So same thing with following your intuition when it comes to spell work. You start unlocking doors that only you are unlocking. So just wanted to throw that out there. Follow your intuition. If something comes to you at the close of your spell, you know, that candle is starting to burn down and you didn't know what you were going to do once you completed the spell. Whatever comes to you, honor that. You know, whatever your instincts tell you, honor that. There's a reason for it. So just wanted to throw that out there, because it's okay to do things your own way. It's okay to do things that look completely different than everybody else. But in case you need some inspiration or some guidance or what have you, and you want some examples, here are some examples of disposing and or deployment. So disposing or deploying in a river. You would choose this location for the movement of the river. And so you want to bear in mind what direction is the river flowing in relation to your target. If it's flowing away, you know, you can use that for any type of separation type magic or waning, repelling, things of that nature. And if it's flowing to you or to your target, for attracting and all of that. If you want to keep something close to you, you want to keep something around, kind of like binding it to you, anchoring it down. You would bury things in the backyard. You would deploy it by burying it in the backyard. So, you know, like keeping a lover faithful, keeping money around, steady work, protection, peace, things of that nature. You would bury it in the backyard to keep it around. Like, let's say you've got a really good job. You don't want it to go anywhere. You can anchor it in your backyard. To attract something, you would bury it under your front step. Now, if you don't have an actual, the kind of step where you can actually bury something underneath one, if you got a loose brick, utilize that loose brick that's at the front step and put something under there, okay? And if you're super sure about it, hell, what is it called? I don't know what the stuff, I'm not a bricklayer. I can't remember. I'm drawing a blank what the stuff is actually called in between the bricks. But I mean, if you are completely sure about that spell, put it under that brick and then replace the brick. Actually fix the step so you know that that stuff is not going anywhere. That energy isn't going anywhere. Whatever it is that you put under the step. Now, if you can't do that, then bury it as close to the front step as possible. And maybe bury it on the east side of the front step, because the sun rises in the east, and so rising is associated with attraction. Or you could tweak your spell so it can be something small enough to fit under a welcome mat. If you can attach it under the welcome mat so it won't go anywhere, if you can somehow, you know, take the welcome mat apart and put the spell in between. Or something as simple as just, you know, utilizing powders, pouring powders and different things on that welcome mat. Think of the symbology of that. You're literally welcoming whatever it is that you're attracting into your home. So that's something that you could do. For you city folks, I don't have a yard. What do? Potted plants. Okay, potted plants are your best friend. All right, get you a plant that you keep at the front door for your attraction, and the back door if you have it, or as close to the back of your house as possible, in a location that makes sense. And use a potted plant, and that'll be your backyard. This is how you bury things and deploy things. Also utilizing parks, things like that. If you don't have a yard that you can bury things in, or you know, apartment building, you don't want to bury it on the property, you can't be digging around in the yard, you know. use potted plants or utilize a location, a public location, that symbology of that location and the energy of that location makes sense for that particular spell. So there's that. If you want to destroy the influence of something, like say for instance you've done, you're trying to break a bad habit, so you've done a spell for that, and you're trying to destroy the influence that the bad habit has over you, you could make, a symbol, some sort of effigy that represents that bad habit and chuck it in a fire, burn it, destroy it, burn and destroy that influence that it has over you. You know what I'm saying? If you want to disperse energy over long distances, you would dispose or deploy at a crossroads or a railroad track. And a crossroads, if you're curious what exactly that is, it's just a four-way intersection. Any four-way intersection doesn't have to be a road. If you have some type of bike trail or some type of jogging trail that has a crossroads, you can use that as well. Some graveyards, they have paved paths and they're crossroads, so you get double duty if you're working with the crossroads in a graveyard. And since I mentioned graveyard, I'll just talk about what it means to dispose or bury something in the graveyard. One, it's getting the aid of spirits, okay? And that could be the aid of spirits for any type of spell. Now, when it comes to, you're doing something of a positive nature, but you're just trying to work with a spirit, I would say actually choose an individual, because the graveyard itself represents death. So if you're not working with your ancestor, a friend of a family, or somebody that you knew that doesn't mind helping with this, the graveyard symbolizes death. So aside from working with an individual, to bury something in the graveyard, make sure death is what you're looking for. You're trying to kill something. It doesn't have to necessarily be you're trying to kill an actual person. You could be trying to kill a habit. You could be trying to kill a relationship, trying to end it. You're trying to bring death to something. Or maybe you're trying to get your boss fired. I don't know, But death, that's what the graveyard is all about as a whole. But if you get to working with individuals, then I feel the symbology can change, because your grandma was all about love. She was a matchmaker in her day, and so you want to get her help with a love spell. I don't see a problem with that. But again, you need to know who it is that you're working with too. And maybe instead of, in that case, actually burying it there, taking a bit of grandma's graveyard dirt and utilizing that in the spell for the help of spirits, because that's what graveyard dirt is for too. It's not all just about death and destruction. Using graveyard dirt in your spells is to add that element of spirit to it. You're trying to get help from spirits. So there's that. Follow your instincts on that. And when it comes to the graveyard, first of all, understand that if you're not trying to join them anytime soon, know that you are disturbing their peace, so pay them for it, okay? Pay them for their troubles. They're looking out for you. They minding their business. So when you come into the graveyard, pay everybody. You want to pay the graveyard itself. Hold on, y'all. All right, sorry about that, y'all. I got a daggone phone call. Now, I think the last thing I was talking about was paying the spirit. So when you get into the graveyard, you want to pay like the graveyard at large, paying everybody for coming in there, disturbing their rest. And you want to do that, paying coming in and paying to go out, okay? So nobody get the bright idea to come follow you home. And then whatever individual spirit you work with, if you are working with an individual spirit and not just the graveyard itself, you want to pay them as well, okay? And it can be money. I would suggest money first and foremost. Drop a few coins. But also when you're working with spirits, you're working with an individual, or if you tend to do a lot of work in the graveyard, take care of the people in the graveyard, clean their graves, put some flowers down. If you can cut the grass, do that. Just show your appreciation, show your respect. So that's that. If you want to lock something down and really, etch the effects of that spell in stone, then you would deploy it by burying it in a 5-spot pattern. And a 5-spot pattern is just what you see the number 5 looks like on a die. Those dots in the 4 corners and the dot in the center, and you would bury your spell on that center dot. Well, actually, depending on the type of spell. So if it's just one little thing that's contained, like a jar spell, you bury that in the center spot. If you're working with powders or oils or waters or something like that, then you would drop a little bit in each of the 5 spots. Okay? And then the bulk of whatever it is the spell was, put that in the middle. Now, if you can't do that, because say for instance, the 5-spot pattern in your yard has the 5-spot, your house is on the 5 spot, and you aren't trying to crawl under there. You're not trying to crawl under there, or you simply can't crawl under there to bury anything. You can make a smaller, a 5-spot pattern in your yard. Some people also utilize the inside of their house for the 5-spot pattern. Some people actually, if they can, will actually take up floorboards and put things under the carpet, under their house, in their house. If you aren't trying to do that, some people also place things in a 5-spot pattern in their home, but the spots, they'll place the object under or behind furniture, okay, instead of actually burying it under the floor. So that's something you can do as well. For secrecy, you don't want the person to know that they're being worked on. Some secretive ways of deploying spells is one, deploying it in food. Now, I ain't saying poison nobody. Do some kitchen magic, okay? Nobody knows. And, when it comes to hoodoo, because FYI, these definitions and these methods are based on the tradition of hoodoo. Most people are familiar. Everybody heard the story, don't eat spaghetti from somebody when you're first dating them. But if this person is a kitchen witch, then nothing you eat is probably regular, okay? It's all probably got some sort of enchantment in it. So protect yourself and eat well, all right? Because you're not going to be able to guess which food is magical except from feeling it. If you can feel the energy coming off of it, then, but any type of food item can be spelled, because all kitchen ingredients have a magical property. Everything has a magical property to it at the end of the day. So that's how you can be secretive. Another way to be secretive is to utilize things like oils and powders and perfumes and things, regular stuff. Nobody's going to think that this oil is magical unless they see the bottle and it looks like it. As far as they know, you just like to wear oil. It's a perfume oil or something. And the same thing with perfume. Who would know that it's enchanted? And sprinkling powders, one, if they can see it, it's powder. You don't know that it's magical. They're vacuuming. It could be carpet powder. Excuse me. So that's something you can do. Also using bath crystals. If you draw a bath for someone, putting the bath crystals in there and enchanting the tub. Excuse me, before they get in. Excuse me. Or putting bath crystals in the rinse cycle in your washing machine so that the clothes are infused with magic. All of those are discreet ways, and there are plenty more discreet ways of doing magic. You can also give a person a picture of you. Now, whether or not the target is going to open that picture up, if you know your target well, if they nosy or they're going to be suspicious and go open that picture up, or they're going to use the frame for something else, you might want to, really think about how you do that. Because some people are just, straight up write a petition on the back of the picture and dress it with oils and powders and what have you. And symbols and sigils and all sorts of stuff. And they put the picture in there, but they know, okay, this person, grandma don't take the picture out the frame. So, so it's fine. And then you might want to go a different route. Maybe take a Sharpie and write on that felt backing of photos, or just use powders or something and no writing and just enchant it, or, you know, be very careful with the writing and where you put it so it can't be visible. But that's an excellent way of bewitching somebody and they're none the wiser. A picture. You can also do this digitally, okay? I know people don't talk about technology and using technology in magic, but my thing is, now I don't know whether or not if you name your file, you name your picture something and then text it to the person, will they be able to see that? I don't know. If they can, then don't title, don't name your picture your petition. But if they can't see it, you could write a short little petition, short little name paper, but that'll be the name of the file, and you enchant it. You took, you know, a spiritual bath before you took the picture. You had candles burning and different things, and you dressed yourself with powders and oils and all sorts of things, and then you took the picture and you enchanted it, and then you sent it off. Who would think that picture, people text people pictures all the fucking time, who would think that this is a spell? Okay. And well, how would you know it's working? Well, are you their wallpaper now? Is that picture their wallpaper? And just their behavior. Okay, I've definitely noticed that my picture became my husband's wallpaper after I did that love jar, y'all. So that's an update. I've been waiting to share with you all, but my videos hadn't been relevant. So here's the relevancy. Yeah, after I did that spell, my picture became his wallpaper, and so I just was quite tickled pink by that, because he's not, you know, he doesn't care about those sorts of things. He'll just throw up any kind of wallpaper. It's a skull. It's an ace of spades. He doesn't care. So to see that, I'm like, I'm just working on him. That warmed my heart and amused me very much. But anywho, so pictures. If you want the power of your spell to increase, deploy it in the east. Like I said before, the sun rising in the east. That rising represents attraction and increase and abundance and all of that. And the west represents decrease and repelling and waning or what have you. So basically the rising and the setting of the sun has the same properties as the waxing and waning of the moon. So you could deploy something in the west if you're trying to decrease the power of something. So say you're trying to decrease your target that's spreading rumors, and you're trying to lessen that. You don't want them gossiping as much as they do until they just stop gossiping altogether. So you would work with the west, deploy that spell in the west. So those are the more traditional ways of deploying and disposing. That is by no means an exhaustive list, but that's something, it's a jumping off point, give you something to think about. Now, as far as some modern ways, now my modern way, or my modern ways for disposing of spells probably is controversial, okay? Because I utilize the trash can. And some witches or cultists, whatever, you know, root doctors, people that practice magic, just some people don't like that. They can't wrap their head around the fact, okay, I put all this energy into the spell, and, you know, it's a spell of attraction. It's not a curse or anything like that. It's not a cleansing. I'm trying to attract money. I'm trying to attract love, what have you. Some people can't get it in their head to throw the spell away, because in their mind, oh, well, I'm throwing all of my hard work away. For me, I don't look at it like that. I look at it as, I ain't finna walk to no crossroads and do all of this old-fashioned shit. This ain't for old-fashioned times. So for me, I look at the location of the trash can. I'm not going to just throw in anybody's trash can. Where is this trash can? So like I've mentioned before, I've taken things, to Walmart because there's much traffic and so many people there. I'll take a cleanse and spill my remains, and Walmart is like my crossroads. It's my neutral location. So many people come there that hundreds of people are going to take a little bit of that energy that I disposed of with them. I don't care that it's in a trash can. And also I look at it too. Don't nobody like going, who digs through a public trash can? Seriously. You know what I'm saying? I feel like what it is I threw away has less chance of being discovered by some nosy person. What is that? What's clanking in their trash? Like, yes. Some people ain't got nothing else better to do. And I don't know too many people that will go through a nasty, filthy fucking public trash can. So in my mind, it's cloaking. It's protected. You're not gonna bother it. I know it's gonna be there and do its job. Now, my description just made me think. See, that's why I don't want to put it in the trash can. It's filthy. Listen, dirt is filthy. You work with the earth. So it's all in how you look at it. It's all in how you relate to the energy. And so I don't have a problem with the fact that it's the trash. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at, again, the fact that who's going in it. It's protected. It's going to be hidden. I'm looking at that, and I'm also looking at the location. And so neutral locations in my mind are places like Walmart, the mall, sports stadiums, and movie theaters, bus stations, airports. A lot of people come here, and that energy can be dispersed in a lot of different directions. That's how I look at it. Utilizing the trash can in a church. You're doing a get married spell. People typically get married in church. Instead of burying something on church property, I don't go to this church. Like, who is this person burying something on the church property? That bothers me more than putting something in the trash can. Because, again, I say it all the time, ain't nobody trying to catch a case. Trying to dispose of your spell work. You trespassing in a lot of cases with these traditional ways of disposing, And so, what's suspicious about throwing something in the trash? That's how I look at it. That's how I'm able to resolve it. And I haven't had any problems with disposing of my spells in this way. Okay, so if it ain't broke, I ain't gonna fix it. So there's a symbology of the church, the bus station and the airport utilizing their trash cans there for spells like hot foot. You're trying to drive somebody out of town. Look at the symbology. People are literally leaving the country if you're at an international airport. So you could have the potential to drive this person out of the country. Okay, that's how I look at it. And trash, we have trash. It's a part of life. It's not evil. It's not, it's just a trash can. We use it. It's a part of life. And in my mind, anything can be made sacred if you make it so. So it's controversial. Some people, nope. Thumbs down. I don't give a fuck. It works for me. And if you have that same mentality that you don't mind doing that, you get my logic, then try it. What do you have to lose? So yeah, there's that. I'm trying to see. Did I give, another example of using the trash can. So say you're trying to influence your coworker, throwing some trash in their cubicle that they're going to sit near all day, sitting close to it so that spell can work on it, Discreet, depending on what kind of spell it is you threw in their trash can. Because some people do. It's your cubicle, so you would go through the trash can sometimes. So you want to keep that in mind. It's not a public trash can per se. So keep that in mind. But I mean, I would take the chance because of the proximity. It's just too tempting. So that's another way of utilizing the trash can for disposing or deployment. So that is it, you guys. This video is going to be quite long with these two videos. But anywho, that is it. I want it to be thorough, give you all plenty of examples. So that is that. Thank you all so much for watching. Click that subscribe button, click the notification bell. Check me out on Instagram for those inspirational quotes and card readings. And I will see you in the next video, guys. Bye.